Excellent.
Awesome.
Sweet. Okay. Perfect. Excellent. That's still looking good, Lexi.
Yep, that looks good.
Perfect.
Okay, so hey guys, hey everyone who's here. Thanks for coming. This is just going to be a meeting about like career fair prep stuff. I'm Lexi. If you don't know me, I'm the president of WIA SCAD, and WIA SCAD is joined here by APG Animation Producers Guild today. So this is like our little like fun collab meeting. We tend to do these like a couple times a year, but this one is like especially important just because there's a lot of stuff to talk about regarding career fair, a lot of stuff that people might not know, and overall, just find this meeting to be pretty helpful. So if you haven't already, that QR code that's on our presentation right there, if you want to scan that with your phone or a device, that's just to sign into the meeting to so we can record attendance. So I'll give everybody just like a minute to do that real quick, and then we'll start into the slideshow. And there will be room for questions after we go over the slideshow. So if people have questions or want us to take a look at like a portfolio or a resume or anything like that, we'll also be doing that.
Mhm. Ooh,
Okay, so hopefully everybody's had the chance to scan that QR code real quick. Um, but we'll put it back up at the end for anybody who's joined late. So yeah.
Perfect. Okay, I will go to the next slide.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to go over is the virtual career fair this year looks a little different. So last year was the first time we had an in-person career fair since pre-COVID. And that was really cool and exciting. This year they've gone back to doing virtual ones. It's probably just because it's a little bit easier to plan and navigate, and you don't have to get companies here in person as much because they're usually a lot more available on Zoom. But in years past, SCAD has used an app called Career Fair Plus, and this year they're not doing that. They've actually transferred over to 1220. And this is the same website that the SCAD job portal is now on as well. So they've combined it into kind of an all-in-one thing. And you can access this from MySCAD and also just typing in scad.1220.com. So it's pretty easy. You just log in with your MySCAD login or your SCAD SSO. But this also has, aside from just career fair stuff, it has different employer events. They'll post jobs on there from time to time outside of portfolio or outside of career fair. Companies will just have portfolio reviews every so often. Like Skydance did one this past fall. So it's just a good idea to check 1220 every so often just to kind of see what new postings and things are on there, as well as using it to navigate for career fair. Now, the deadline for career fair to sign up for things was yesterday. So hopefully everybody got a chance to do that. But after they will announce if you've gotten like a portfolio review or things like that. They haven't quite announced that yet. But if you did apply for things for the career fair, hopefully CAS will be getting through to you soon on whether you were accepted for portfolio reviews or going to any group presentations and things like that. Yeah. So this is just how to upload your resume to 1220. This is really important because a lot of employers and things like portfolio reviews you can apply for do not take your application on 1220 unless you have an approved resume. So if you need to upload a resume, you want to go to your profile and then application materials. And then it's the first thing. So I took a screenshot of mine so you can see I have an approved resume. But CAS, Career and Alumni Success, does have to approve your resume. And sometimes that can take like 3 to 4 business days. So definitely prepare in advance before uploading or submitting a resume to give yourself time. If you need to update it, same thing. So you can just upload a new resume every time you need to update it, but make sure that you do that in advance so CAS has time to look over it and approve it. And if for some reason it gets denied, I would recommend setting up a meeting with your CAS advisor, and they can go over resume building stuff with you. But we also have a section later on that goes over resume building as well, just like tips. Yes. So, oh, actually, I just realized the resume is literally right here. This is the resume section. So, for an example, I have a resume from Morgan Eng, who she was the past president of WIA SCAD a couple of years ago, and she's now a production assistant at Disney. And this is the resume that she got hired with. So, if you guys want to see an example of a resume that might get you hired, um, Morgan's is great. Now, hers is it has a lot on it. Your resume, especially if you're like a freshman, sophomore, does not need to be this lengthy. Morgan has a lot of experience on collaborative projects, so she made sure to put all of that down. So just as you get more experience, just be sure to add those things onto your resume. But even if it is like kind of longer like hers, it's important to only have it be one page. Employers don't want to see anything more than that because usually resumes are something they look at pretty quickly. So just one side, one page, and make sure this is really important that it's organized. So even though there's a lot going on Morgan's here, you can see that it's organized by if she has her education up at the top, and then she has her experience, and from her experience, she breaks it down into each of the projects that she's been on and what her role was, and then she gives a few bullet points of what exactly she did on the project, and then down at the bottom, she has her skills, softwares, activities, achievements, things like that. So if you have things that you want to put like accolades, you can put those down at the bottom of your resume. And it's also usually best to list your experience in chronological order. So you want to put your most recent stuff up at the top, and then the stuff that's a bit older can get down more down at the bottom. And you want to make sure that your descriptions are pretty concise. Morgan has kind of a lot of bullet points. You don't necessarily need to have that many, but just like a couple, like 2 to 3, maybe 4 bullet points describing like what you did. And it doesn't even need to be like a full complete sentence, just kind of something concise and brief. And it's also using numbers, specifically when you're talking about dates. So, like if you worked on something from 2023 to 2024, you want to write that down. You don't just want to say, like, oh, I worked on this thing. You want to make sure you put down when you worked on it, and so they can see how recent it was. And then there's a bit more on the next slide, I believe. The resume, yeah. So, just some general things to include. Some of these should go without saying, but your name, they want your full name, and your title or focus. So, like Morgan here has story and visual development on there. So, if you're a story artist, you can put that on there. Production, animator, a 2D or 3D animator. Or if you're somebody who does tech, you could be like a 3D environment artist, a modeler, things like that. So, whatever you want your focus is as your title, make sure to put that on your resume so that way recruiters and employers can kind of align your focus with the correct job. And it's a good idea to have your contact information. So not everybody has their phone number on here, but usually it's recommended. Definitely your email, definitely a hyperlink to your portfolio website or your demo reel. And CAS will not approve your resume unless the link is like hyperlinked. You can do that in Adobe Acrobat, but that's really important. You want to make sure you have your education, so SCAD, and it's usually a good idea to say like where it was. So obviously, here would be Savannah, Georgia, but if you're in Atlanta, you can put that. And what kind of a degree was it? A BFA? Was it an MFA? Just just helpful things to put on. You don't necessarily need your social media on your resume. You can put that on your website. So you can link that. You can link your Instagram. or your Twitter or things like that. Those can all go on your portfolio website.
Mhm.
Um, and then it's a good idea, typically, you can separate your professional experience from your collaborative experience. So that's like, say you have a job at Whole Foods, that's your professional experience, but then you have your actual capstone, like collaborative projects that weren't necessarily paid experience or paid work, but they are still collaborative experience. Um, and usually, as you fill your resume, you can start to take off some of those things that aren't as relevant. So, like, you could have your Whole Foods, like, a job on there at first, but then as you get, five, six more collaborative projects, you can start to take that off because the collaborative experience is really what employers are going to be looking at more so than whether you had like a retail job or something. But when you're first starting out building your resume, that can still be something that's helpful. Um, and also your skills, soft and hard. So, soft skills are things like collaboration, communication, um, like highly motivated, like things that are kind of uh, innate to you that aren't like solid applications. So a hard skill, on the contrary, would be something like software, things that you're like skilled in. You definitely want to put down what softwares you're most familiar with. So do you have like the Adobe suite, the Google Docs, and like the whole Google suite, especially if you're doing production? Um, Harmony, Toon Boom Harmony, Toon Boom Storyboard Pro, all of those things. If you're 3D, Maya, Blender, Houdini, all of those are really, really important because when employers are looking at your resume, they're going to want to see, are you skilled with the software that the studio is using? So they'll probably take somebody who has experience with the software over somebody who doesn't. Um, so that's something good to keep in mind. And lastly, you can also put down your activities like clubs and stuff and your achievements if you made the dean's list or you have scholarships. Those things are more of like a cherry on top. They're not as significant or important as your work experience and your education. But there are fun things to just kind of like put at the bottom of your resume. That's how Morgan has it here. They're like the very last things. But also, I've seen resumes that don't have those either. You don't necessarily have to have them. But if you're looking for something to just kind of like fill a little bit of space at the bottom, they can be something good to include.
And I'll add on for like soft skills. Like of course for hard skills, like softwares, everything those are important to put down for soft skills, like as you can see here, Morgan doesn't include those. And I'd say it's because her first of all, it can sometimes take up room. So don't feel the need to like absolutely put those down. If you have less on there and you feel like you need to, but if you're at a point where you have a lot of projects, and as you can see here, so if she had like if Morgan had put down hardworking, I would be like, yeah, I know that from your resume, from how much you have here. And so some things like you don't have to put down anymore because it's like obviously this person is passionate, obviously hardworking, and whatnot. So as you gain experience, you can sometimes take those things off too, like those little crutches or whatever. Still important to have if you want to. Like it's okay to put those down, but I just thought that was interesting. So again, some people's resumes will look different to others, and there's no like complete wrong way or right way. It's just where you're at and what you feel like you need to put down and everything. Perfect. Okay. Oh yeah, and here's some
Yeah,
more examples.
just like some professional resumes that I've pulled. Um, and they're also like ones for different like areas. So like Shannon Hallstein is Viz Dev and character design. Lauren is a storyboard artist. And I think it's Mikey uh, does a bunch of different things. So they have directing, storyboards, development, design. You don't necessarily want to have to have all of those on there, but these are just kind of examples of different ways that you can format resumes, and they're all pretty effective.
Mhm. They're all very like organized and simple. Like they're not too much. Sometimes like when we're first starting out, we put too much, but really these are quite simple. Even for someone who's worked at like Warner Bros. And Disney and all that stuff, like they're still quite simple, which I think is like nice. Like you don't have to pack too much in there, and you also don't have to be too flashy with it. These are really, really pretty. I love Lauren's. It's really beautiful. Awesome. Perfect. Oh my gosh, demo real time. Yay. Okay, guys. So I'm kind of gonna go over the basics of just demo reels, like what to expect. I also have a little more info on like specific demo reels and what those might look like. Let's see. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. Perfect. Okay. So for like general guidelines with demo reels, the duration will sometimes be different depending on what your demo reel is covering, if it's like modeling or if it's rigging, whatnot, motion media. So typically 30 to 60 seconds though. For music, people go a lot with like instrumental, but try to avoid copyright with your music. So make sure whatever you have won't be like tagged, or if you're like posting it publicly on YouTube, it won't be taken down because it's copyright. So just be mindful of that. Definitely like look up resource. There's tons of resources online for non-copyright music. Also look at like what other demo reels use. Like be like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like where did this person find this? Whatnot. And also be mindful of the volume as well. So don't make it too quiet, but not too loud because it can take away from. If it's too loud, it can take away from your work and be very distracting. If it's too quiet, then some people might not realize you have music on it if their computer volume or whatever is too low. And so things to include. So firstly, title card, of course, which has your name, your like title, your focus, your phone number, your email, portfolio, website link. So show this at the beginning and the end, and you can make like a nice little like title card with that and make it nice and pretty. And then label work with so whatever work you're showing, be sure you show what you're responsible for. So if you're like a 2D animator or whatnot, and you did the rough animation for this, of course, title that you did the roughs for this. You can still show final stuff, but make sure you're not taking responsibility for something you didn't do or making that clear just for just to be respectful and also just to show like what it is you're doing. So whoever's watching your demo reel knows what you're doing and isn't like, oh, well, I don't know. That's of course important. So for the process work, so that's also very important. So of course the final image, the final what animation is always going to be gorgeous, sometimes better than the process, of course, but it's also important to show how you got there to whoever's scouting you, whoever's looking over your demo reel. So for like visual development, showing like your how do you say it? Ideation process. So like what brought you these ideas, like what did you pull from? Sometimes putting that in a nice slide or whatnot is good. For like animation, what were your references for, or like 3D animation, I should say, or 2D? What were your references for like whatever it is you were animating? If it was like a run cycle, whatnot, like did you take your own video references, throw those in there? For modeling, doing turnarounds, showing your wireframes, showing what it looks like untextured, doing like slides of that. So yeah, just putting your work in progress is important. Show your journey. It's awesome. And a progress, yeah, your progress bar. So just again, kind of like keeping each project like in their own like sequence in the demo reel, being like, this is this one project, this is my progress. This was the beginning, the middle, blah blah blah, your turnarounds, whatever you put in there, and then your end product. Oh shoot, totally backwards. Let's see. And then for some tips on demo reels, so publishing on Vimeo. Don't we have a scab Vimeo, right, Lexi, that you can publish those on? And
Yes, we do.
yes, and those are public and everything for people to look at, which is great.
Yes.
Yes. And then telling a story. So yes, opening and ending with the strongest work. So sometimes you'll get different opinions on this, but I would say it is generally like opening with a strong work and ending with a strong work, and then keeping your medium work kind of in the middle is good because it keeps people interested from the beginning and then to the end, and they're going to be like, "Oh, I'm glad I sat through this till the end." That's always good. I definitely recommend that. And then short with quality over long with mediocre. Definitely. I know I have the issue where like I will make it way too long because you feel like you need to put a lot in there, but really it should be just make it short and concise. When I use Vimeo, it didn't give me an option to make it public. Oh, weird. Do you know anything about that, Lexi?
I haven't used it like recently because I don't really have a demo reel because I'm storyboarding.
Yeah.
Um, but I know that there's at least a way to do it with like password access.
Okay.
Um,
I
but you
can look
can
into that.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, you can also just make your own like Vimeo's free, so you can
Yeah.
always just make your own Vimeo account.
Yeah.
I've also seen people do it on YouTube and just have it be like unlisted.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, perfect. I will look into that later and see if that is like, yeah, something that people who are like making demo reels can do. Find that password to post it publicly. But I'll look at that later. But yes, definitely not packing too much in there and keeping it to your quality work is important. And also not taking up too much of the recruiter, whoever's time, because they watch so many of these. So not making your title card super long or whatever is important. So they're not just like, oh my God, please get me to your work, whatnot. Just keep in mind that just remember that whoever's looking at it has probably seen a million of these. So let's not take up too much of their time and also show them your work, your good work, not your fancy slides or title cards or whatever. Again, that's an issue I did. This is me yelling at younger me. So let's see. So do I think we have some real examples here? Awesome. Can we show any of these?
I think if you go back to the slide before this, the link, they're hyperlinked. Yeah. So
Oh,
you can click on
nice.
their names and it
Okay,
should bring you to their
perfect.
website.
Oh my gosh. Okay. We will watch Heidi Husband's demo reel. Amazing. Let's see. I'll keep it like this. I'll start it over. I didn't, it was being weird. Awesome. So that was for 3D animation. And as you can see, she would put like one clip, half of the clip at the start and ending the rest of the clip at the end. That's always kind of cool because you're like, oh, I remember this. Oh, here's the rest of it. That's kind of a cool like story thing you can do with your reels. Again, very like short and concise. But awesome. Let's look at a multimedia director and producer, Noah Sterling's reel. Ooh, fancy.
I think I've seen this artist's work before.
Yeah, they're pretty prolific with a lot of indie animation, so I wouldn't be surprised if a few people have seen their work before. different sound to this, but I don't think we have but that's okay because I mean, usually a demo reel's sound is kind of like secondary to it's kind of like a supplement to the animation. Some recruiters will just like mute the sound entirely. So whatever sound you have on your demo reel, don't make it essential or anything like that, unless it's like dialogue, but that's the only time.
Yeah. Okay, that was kind of sick. What? Okay. Loved it. So for that one, despite having loud, um, loud music, it kind of like fit for his aesthetic and like his like a lot of his animation and what is he's a yeah, multimedia. So a lot of his stuff, like it's very like action packed, pumped up, bright, like shocking colors. And I think the music kind of worked with it. Again, a lot of people don't do music with like actual like voices and everything in it, but again, for his it works. So again, you could see different ways people structure and go with their demo reels. It doesn't always have to be one way or the other. Let's see this stop motion fabricator. Oh, I love these. I love so many different like I'm like, oh, this is neat. Let's watch those. Hey, Bismarck Fernandez. That was really awesome too. Wow. So again, you can see I like that one because you see his process work, which is again for his focus, which is extremely important for a fabricator because you need to see how they get to their end product. But it's such a cool story of how you got there. Like it feels like I get to be behind the scenes of this person's work, and see how they got to this end product. It's so fun. What a treat. It's just so cool. So again, what a cool demo reel. Totally different subjects, different or different focuses here, but again, you can see that they're all like they have similar things, but also they're different. They go about it different ways, different aesthetics. It's fascinating. So make yours your own. Let's see here. So we went through these reels. Okay, perfect. Would you like to go over the portfolio, Lexi?
Yeah, for sure. So not every like concentration obviously will have demo reels if you're not necessarily doing something that requires it, like animation. So some people just have portfolio pages. So when you have a portfolio, and also you want to typically have your demo reel either if it's not on Vimeo, you can always have it on a portfolio website as well. So just some general guidelines. It's usually recommended to own a domain. Now, if you're still, like most of us, are still students, um, Usually it's a good idea to start off with something that you don't necessarily pay the domain name for, and then eventually you can buy it. If you can't buy a domain name, I would recommend using Weebly, because it gives you a nice short URL. Like it'll literally just be like yourname.weebly.com. So it's, but it is like greatly suggested to buy a domain name. That way you can literally just have it be your full name.com. But something like Weebly would work as well. I wouldn't recommend Wix as much because Wix gives you kind of long URLs, and Adobe Portfolio SCAD does give you for free. However, as soon as you graduate from SCAD, you lose that. So you'll have to make a new portfolio or start paying for Adobe Portfolio. So that's kind of up to you. Um, but the first thing that's really important on a portfolio website is that your homepage immediately opens up to your work. So you don't want to have like a homepage that just has like your name and like nothing on it that you would have to then click to other pages to find your work. You want to have like just like your homepage of work first thing, as soon as somebody opens your website. So whether that be your demo reel or your projects with character designs or your storyboard portfolio, that's typically what you want on your homepage. You don't want to have the recruiter or employer have to click more than 1 to 2 times on anything to see your work. So that's the 1 to 2 clicks rule. Um, and for pages that have like long continuous scrolling, like sometimes you do see that on websites that have like storyboards or character designs. If you do have a web page that scrolls long time, you want to make sure you have a like back to top button or something like that, or just avoiding that long scrolling if you can, and some kind of a solid wallpaper, because you want to have your work be the main focus, right? So you don't want to have anything that's distracting, like crazy textures or patterns or super bright saturated colors on your wallpaper. Just keep it neutral, or keep it subtle. You can still have like a little bit of personal flair, but you don't want to have anything too crazy. And the best things to include, of course, you want to have your website title, which will be your name and whatever your focus is. You'll have your menu that has your portfolio, which is your homepage. And at minimum, you want to have pages that link to your about, your contact, your resume. And you can also have pages for like other work if you want to include other things. Make sure that your resume is available to download as a PDF. That's super important because some recruiters do like to print resumes. So they want to be able to print it and also just download it to keep if they need to. The other thing that's really helpful to have is an about page. It may not seem like something that's super significant, but people do like to see who you are, and especially what you do outside of animation. So if you have any other interests, you can include that in a bio, and either like a professional headshot or a self portrait. I've seen both, but I tend to lean towards the photo, just because it does kind of show more of like who you are personally outside of just drawing and things like that. But yeah, having a little about page is really important. And the best tips is just to have your website be focused and curated. So you can have additional work, like I said, but you want to make sure that that's on a separate page, that that's not with your main portfolio. So if you're a storyboard artist, but you also do kind of character design on the side, you should put those character designs in your additional work page and not in with your storyboards. And you also want to have it be easy to navigate. So typically just having a menu up at the top or on the side, that's just easy to navigate, easy to click through, so people don't have to scour and search through your portfolio website to find the things that they're looking for.
Sorry, are
Oh,
these also hyperlinked
I think they're
links?
supposed to be. I think maybe if you click the next
Oh
page.
yeah,
Oh
maybe if
yeah.
they're. Oh wait, hold up,
Oh wait,
hold
no,
up.
that's Bismarck.
Okay,
Um,
wait.
uh, I don't
Yeah, I
think
don't.
I got the chance to hyperlink these, but I there
Okay.
are screenshots so you can kind of see.
Yes.
This is a background designer, and they
Mhm.
have all of their things laid out very nice. You don't really need to scroll very hard, and their main focus is like layout and background painting, and you can see that very clearly. And if you look on the left, you see their navigation. It has illustration, backgrounds, character. You don't even need to have all of that. And then she has her buttons for social media, and then a few other things like about and contact. She has a graphic novel and a print store, so she links those things. But overall, the organization of this is really neat, really concise. You see everything. If you click on one of those images, it zooms in and you can get a fuller picture. But this is really helpful for recruiters who are just looking at a lot of portfolios all at once. So that way, you open the page and she's getting the gist, or you're getting the gist of just of what this artist is about. And I think there's another one. Yeah, so this is another like background and painting example. Typically, these tend to have all of the images kind of up front, really close to each other. Um, and you see it's pretty effective. You have all the pretty colors and it's on a plain white background. So that brings the focus into the backgrounds themselves. And then I think, let me see what the next one was.
Oh, is this isn't this the guy who's doing what's the film name? Shoot, I'm totally blanking on it. It's the biblical story.
Oh, is it David?
Is it?
Oh,
Yeah,
wait. Oh, with
the
that.
with
Oh,
the
wait. I know who you're
animals.
talking
Oh,
about.
Judas,
The
Judas.
Judas and he's a rabbit. Yes.
Yeah, this is him,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Awesome.
that
He's
is
an
him.
amazing artist. This is great.
Yes, and he's a SCAD grad as well. Um,
Yes, I totally forgot about that.
yeah,
Incredible.
yeah.
Can't wait to see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
So those are some examples of portfolios. And then the next thing is about LinkedIn. I know that a lot of us Gen Z people aren't as big into LinkedIn. It feels like more of a millennial thing. And I kind of agree with that, but it's still important. And a lot of recruiters do use LinkedIn. So it's helpful and it's really important. So if you haven't already, make a LinkedIn. Make sure you have your contact info on there. Make sure you have a link to your portfolio page. You want to have a professional photo, like a headshot. It's recommended usually to have that over like a drawing. You can have a banner that showcases some of your artwork. So I just use mine as an example. And then you'll have your contact information. Another thing that LinkedIn does is you can edit your profile URL to have a shortened link. So you can change it. Like mine is just Lexi G. Nicholas after the LinkedIn part. So that makes it a lot easier to type in. You want to have like a short little bio about yourself. And then aside from that, make sure that you have a copy of your resume and your portfolio link on there. And then aside from that, the most important things on LinkedIn is just to start connecting with people. Connect with your peers, people you know who go to SCAD. Try to get as many connections as you can, and that will grow your network and it makes you more likely to see opportunities, to get connected with professionals. Especially if you're doing like a portfolio review with somebody, you can ask them, like, oh, can I connect with you on LinkedIn? And that gives you kind of a piece of industry that you can connect with, or you can contact if you ever need anything, and they might respond back. Uh, so yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and then this is about yes, Shannon. LinkedIn is pretty good. Um, yeah, so the portfolio reviews. So this virtual career fair is more focused around portfolio reviews than I think it has been in the past, specifically for like animation and stuff like that. I think Hornet's going to be there. Netflix is also going to be doing virtual talk. Actually, I believe they're also going to be in person doing portfolio reviews on the same day as career fair. So definitely, I think the deadline's passed for applications, but definitely be checking back if you applied for that. because I don't think they've announced people who've got it yet. But what to do, like when you have a portfolio review. So I speak from experience. I had a portfolio review with Skydance this past fall, and it was in person. I think a lot of the portfolio reviews might be more like virtual and Zoom based because it is a virtual career fair. Um, but just for preparation for that portfolio review, definitely, first of all, research the employer and the interviewer if you know like ahead of time who the person interviewing you is going to be. See if you can find them on LinkedIn or reach out to your network and see if you can kind of garner information about them, see if they have a website, or what their title is within the company. And just in case something happens where the link that they have to your portfolio or resume is not working or like broken or something, it's always a really good idea to have that copy of your resume and your portfolio pulled up in a tab just in case you need to share it on your screen as opposed to them doing it. Just in case. I usually find that the portfolio reviewers will already have it, but it's always just good to have a backup, and prepare to answer questions. Obviously, you don't want to talk the whole time, but a common one is tell me about yourself. So you want to be prepared to kind of have a brief little intro or elevator pitch. And they may ask you things like, why this company? Like, why are you interested in this particular company and what your career focuses are? Similar questions that you would get in an interview, but these ones are more to guide you in the right direction. And also, it's super, super, super important to make sure that you have a couple questions that you can ask because this is special one on one time with the recruiter or the employer that you're probably not going to get a lot of. So, if you have any questions about your portfolio that you're not sure about, this is the time to ask them, especially because a lot of portfolio or a lot of employers, different studios have different preferences. So it might vary. Like Sony might want something different than DreamWorks, might want something different than Disney. So it's kind of a good idea to ask them to see what they want and what their preferences are. Um, Always write down notes and feedback. That's just super important. And like I said before, it's always a good idea to ask your reviewer if you can connect on LinkedIn. So that way you can keep in touch. That way, also, like if you see there's job postings in the future, you can apply for that and they might recognize you like, oh, hey, I did that portfolio review with this person. They've improved their portfolio since then, might get you a job. You never know. So, yeah.
Right. Okay, okay. So yeah, definitely. Let's see, ask, oh yeah, and to connect with the reviewer on LinkedIn, like finding them later and like sending them a message or whatnot, like a little like thank you or like just like throw your little bit in so they remember you and they're like, oh, this person also said thank you or it was polite or whatnot. That's always a good
Yes.
idea too, just to keep them with you on mind. Let's see. Awesome. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
this is more like, yeah, just some of the stuff should be common sense, but always, even if
Right.
it's over Zoom, you want to dress professionally, even if it's from only the top up. Um, but that's really important. Personal hygiene. If it's in person, especially, nobody wants to be smelling like an animation major. And it's a good idea to be punctual, usually 10 to 15 minutes early. Um, Make sure you shut your cell phone off because there's nothing more embarrassing than having your phone go off in the middle of something really important like this. Um, and it's also just important to be an active listener and be present and engage when they're talking to you. Because, I mean, if you're like looking off over in space like this, it's like kind of not super professional. And they want to make sure that that you are listening to what they're saying because it's really important stuff. You don't want to talk too much, like I said before, so it's good to be concise, but you can still show off, kind of your personality. You want to be confident, and it can be really nerve-wracking. So it's okay to think for a second before you answer a question, to just kind of breathe, Don't let your nerves get to you too much, even though it is very nerve-wracking sometimes. So just try to be confident and just be yourself. That's the most important thing.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely when you're talking with someone, like I know it can be very like again, it's always nerve-wracking when you feel like something's on the line, whatnot. But just like taking a second and like being like, okay, like this is just a person. You're having a conversation. They're interested in getting to know you and like being and just like being like, okay, like make it fun. Make it something that's fun and be fun and relax with this person and like ask them about themselves, about their work, like just treat them like another person, not like some like higher being or whatnot, which which I know is hard, but again, like just yeah, like again, breathe. Like it will be okay. And yeah, just be engaged, be yourself. Be yourself is the I know that's so cheesy, but it's true. Like just show your personality and don't be too freaked out. Okay. And then for additional resources, we have CAS, which is Career and Alumni Success at SCAD, which you have since you're attending SCAD, you have it forever to always refer back to for resume help, portfolio feedback, interview practice, elevator pitch practice. So take advantage of that now. Meet with your career advisor whenever you have the time, maybe like a couple times I would say, yeah, like once every quarter, I would say. Like again, that maybe that's a little much. Again, I know we get busy, but just to have like, some feedback and just to let them know that, hey, this is what I'm working on, blah, 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 is always good. Like keeping that engagement with that person. And again, this is always open to you even after you graduate, which is really cool. So if you're ever like, you get a job interview, whatever, even though you're no longer here at SCAD or in Savannah or whatnot, you can always schedule those meetings with someone to go over stuff, which is really cool. And then also SCADA AMP workshops. So attend these workshops to help you build confidence before the fair. So we have all these different ones for visualizing your brand, refining your presence, engaging your audiences, curating your story, embracing improvisation. So we have a bunch of workshops that focus on different topics here, which is great. And you can register through these through the SCAD job portal under the events tab. These are always really fun, and you always get really cool information from these that you can then apply to whatever you're doing moving forward for your brand, your interviews, whatnot. They're just really fun. So definitely attending those is great. Let's see. Do we have any questions about anything today, guys? Feel free to ask away. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, I didn't even read this from Shannon earlier, but LinkedIn all the way. Best
Oh
advice
yeah.
I heard, yeah, was to post at end of the quarter wrap up showcasing your projects. A good question to ask about the recruiter's journey as well. They were once in your shoes too. Yes, this is great. Yeah, definitely. Again, treating the recruiter, whoever, as a person as they were in the same shoes as you were, and they know what it feels like to have to do the interview process and everything, and remembering that, and also asking them about that, asking them what they did what their journey was like whatnot. Like again, that's a really good way to build a connection there. And yes, and definitely for LinkedIn posting, yeah, keeping that updated with like your projects, like showing what you're working on is awesome. Also, commenting on other people's projects and engaging with that. So then if someone was like, oh, who's this person connected with? Who's this person? This person is showing respect and admiration for their peers. Like again, keeping that up to date is great. Can I get some advice about the internship too from Cass? Of course you can. Yeah, Cass will listen and talk about anything. You get industry professionals that will talk to you about that stuff and help you if you have any questions about that. I definitely advise asking those questions to whoever's uh, employing you or recruiting you or whatnot that you're interning for. But you can also ask, like, oh, if you're not sure what you to expect or how to approach something, you could also ask Cass about that. That is totally cool. Reed asked, are there any good examples of animation production resumes and demo reels and portfolios? Like what to include? Hold up. Let me pull
Yeah,
up.
I was
I'm
gonna
gonna,
say, oh,
yes,
go ahead, go ahead.
right. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm gonna pull up. Tell me if anything is not working right because I'm going to pull up the oh my God. Zoom is sometimes annoying. I get this like bar. Is there any way to hide
Yeah,
this bar up here? Do you see it?
I can't. I think it's just a screen sharing thing. But
Okay, good.
if you can find Morgan's, she had two portfolios. So she has one for VizDev that she did, but the she also has a production portfolio. A lot
Oh,
of people do not. Yeah, see, this is her story one. I think her other one is like a Wix
yeah.
site. Um,
Oh, it is? Okay.
yeah,
Do you think I can find that actually?
yeah. If you Google it and go down a little bit,
Yes. Let's see. Oh, is it here? Or is this the same one?
no.
Wait, hold up.
Wait, what if you try
Hold up.
Googling Morgan Ing production? I think that it will come
Yes.
up if you do that. But typically for production, a lot of people don't have like portfolios per se for production because it's kind of hard to like have
Yeah.
a portfolio for production because it's not really
Yes.
like as like artistically based. But Morgan is one of those people that does. And here, I think I got the portfolio
Is
link actually.
this? Oh,
No,
do you?
that's her. Yeah,
Yeah, I
hold on.
keep finding the same. I feel like I'm starting finding the same one. Again, people do a lot of different ones too. If there's like, if you're, depending if you're like, oh, here's my visual development site, what are, and this is my production, whatever. People do different stuff also. I do recommend like if you're applying for something, for like a production assistant thing, maybe showing some of your, if you were to make some slides for scheduling or like for, managing managing funds, whatnot, putting like screenshotting that and like putting that in a little like slideshow to showcase your work. I do recommend that just so if someone's like interested in seeing what you're able to do and what you've assisted on, like if you were only on a project as a producer, but you made a whole um production, whatever, sheets, whatnot, like showcasing that is also cool because you can be like, yeah, this is my work on this project. So you don't just have nothing. I do recommend that. Do you have do you want mind putting, if you find the link, Lexi, could you put it in the chat and I can totally open that? Let's see. Do, do, do. Let's see. Oh no, wait, Lexi got kicked out. What the hell? Or heck, sorry guys. Give me a second. I was gonna say, where did she go? Oh, there we go. Lexi?
I don't know what just happened. It totally kicked me
I
out.
didn't even realize you left for a second. I was like, wait.
It just said like call failed. Okay, here I do
That's so
have the portfolio link though. So I'm putting this in the chat.
okay,
Um,
perfect. And then we
yeah,
can,
it's
I think Shannon put everyone is up. Oh, cool. Did she put her thing too? Hold up. I'm gonna pull up, yeah. First I'm gonna do pull up this okay, are we just not gonna if I open in browser? What the heck? It's just not wanting to work today. Okay. Um, let me copy link and then I'll put it in. There we go. Okay, sweet.
yeah. So this
Okay.
is her about page. If you go to the production management tab,
Oh yeah.
um, this is one of the examples, one of the best examples I've seen of how to format production management. So she has a list up at the top of all of her projects.
Wow.
She was also in APG,
Yeah.
but she basically goes through how she organized everything, and she breaks it down.
Yes. See,
Yeah, so
this is
she,
really
yeah,
cool. Again, it's kind of when you are when you're showcasing your work as a producer or whatnot on a project, it's very up in the air. Nobody has a definite answer. Like, because of course, if you're like showcasing work for 2D, everyone has, like their structure. But for us, it's a little bit like, oh, so again, this is like a very perfect example of like how someone is showcasing what they did for a project that might not be, that isn't like the main work, like it's the structuring work of it. This is amazing. So you get to see the slide of her file structure and storage. This is also a good example for other films or for people wanting to start like an indie production. Like, oh, how would you structure this? Like, this is really, really cool. I can't believe I haven't seen this till now, but that's awesome. So we can see her Discord server, how she organized this. The production sheet here, click on the image to expand. See? Oh, that's really cool. Nice. So again, you can see everything she did. This production sheet, Google Calendar, production guide. Awesome. So you can see everything she did for that. Additional spreadsheets. So we have like the note, let's see, yeah, real notes, animation guide, and her challenges. That's awesome. So again, this is really cool. Like this is cool to put there in your challenges for whatever project you were on because it shows like your whoever's looking at this, like what you were able to overcome and like what you had to go through. And also they're like, oh, so this person has experienced these things and knows how to recover from this. Like it shows experience. It's just very cool. Let's see. So this was just for the looking glass, and you can click on time flies, and then we want guest area. Okay. Let's see. Hold up. Can I do APG question mark? Cool. So again, some of these we won't go through all these, but again, cool. She shows how yeah, our Discord server. It's freaking awesome. Our drive, again, very concise, very like just pretty. That's amazing. That's so cool. I love that. Okay, cool. That's a great example production, for production like portfolio, I suppose, if you want to call it that. Let's see. And then we had not biased because of hold up. Do we have let me pull Shannon's stuff up. Hold up. Was gonna say, I almost thought this was you, Shannon. I was like, wait. I love it. Oh, cool. Visual development, 2D. She doesn't have a demo. Her work layout is telling a story through art, blah, blah, blah. Everything is on a page, never strange. Okay, cool. So this is like showing like a story through her demo. We'll look at her demo reel right now. I also want to share some info on other demo reel stuff that I have on my phone here. Let me get rid of this. Let's look at her. This is awesome. So this is her portfolio. Let's see if we have her. If does she have a reel or is this just like her work? This is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I
Wow.
think she's more biz dev, so I don't know if she has a
If she
real.
has like a reel, yeah. But still, like, wow.
No, it's gorgeous. I love her work.
Right? I just love it all seems to be in the same like theme when we're going down here. Like, so see like similar themes here. Like this, I think this is like probably from one project with the tiger girl here. This. See, this is cool. See, this is awesome. This is again a really cool example of like showing where you pulled from your illustration stuff or visual concepts, whatnot. This is so cool. Yeah, see, and there we go. We got turnarounds here, some expressions, sketches. So cool seeing the process of these things. Oh yeah, and the different lighting. So cool. Wow. I just love that. No, that is excellent. That is so cool. And then oh cool, she has like the thing she's worked on. Oh my gosh. Wait, I want to look at Tiana. Oh wait, guest area. Hold up.
Yeah, I think
Can I
this is
work?
her professional work, so it's probably
Oh, so it
passwords.
probably
Yeah,
can't.
it's like NDA stuff probably.
That's still
Um,
cool. Like, whoa.
yeah, no, it's awesome.
That's amazing. But again, very simple design, very just like not super, too much. We have her studies here. This is great. Incredible. See her about. Oh, see, we have a sketch of her and we have her picture, which if you, because I know some people like to have like for their profile pictures, they just like to do sketches, but like having like in your about section, maybe just a picture of your face would be cool and a sketch, which is cool. So this is a nice way of doing it. You can download her resume here and we have her email and then we have a little thing for her. So again, not super like crazy in depth, like super long, but it's just like nice, short and concise, just about who she is, what she likes to do. Wow, very pretty. Love it. And then what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. And then I wanted to kind of go over, can you guys see that are we still seeing everything all right, by the way?
Yes, yeah, I can see you.
Okay, good. So I think was there something wrong with the sound earlier?
Oh yeah, the sound from the demo reels, we just couldn't hear it.
Oh shoot, yeah. Sorry guys. Yeah, that was my issue. I get to listen to. I was gonna say some of the music, the one where we were looking at the really like punky pop 2D one that had like very like loud music in it that would had words and everything. So it just fit the reel. Sorry about that, guys. I hate Zoom sometimes. But for the demo reels, I also wanted to before we unless we have any more questions before we close for the day, I wanted to go over some specific demo reel stuff. Hold up. Give me a mom. Okay, cool. So for like motion media demo reels, it's recommended for a little bit over like a minute and 30 for your reel and should include like polished pieces. For 3D animation demo reels, the length is typically 45 seconds to a minute and 15 and should include polished animations and a breakdown of at least one of your shots, including reference, blocking, spline, and the final. And then for 2D animation demo reels, a length of 45 seconds to 115, again, similar to 3D, and should include, of course, polished animations and a breakdown of your shots with the reference, blocking spline, and the final. And then for stop motion animation demo reels, again, a length of 45 seconds to minute 15, includes a breakdown of one of your shots with, again, I'm reiterating, but yes, a breakdown again. For technical animation demo reels, or I guess, yeah, again, like modelers, all that stuff. So that one could be a little over 2 minutes just because it can sometimes be a lot of stuff. So it should include like the tools in action within the software. So like or whatever you're doing. So show some in software stuff like for riggers, showing like what you're doing in Maya or whatnot before, not just like whatever's being used in the animation, if that makes sense. Just kind of like process stuff. For rigging, oh yeah, rigging demo reels. Yeah, and what I just said, but length that can also be a little over 2 minutes, typically, and should include the rig in motion within the software, but also like you can also put final pieces in there of it being used in whatever the film, whatnot. VFX demo reels that can be a minute and 30 to 2 minutes and should include a breakdown of the different layers that make up the scene. I think that can also apply for technical animation. Like if you're doing a scene, like breaking it down from like the wireframe, the non-textured, just ambient occlusion, and also like a breakdown of like your lighting, breakdown of even just what am I thinking? Oh yeah, of like edited effects after or like composite effects afterwards. And then for lighting demo reels, that can be a little over a minute 30, should include, yeah, again, the breakdown of different layers that make up the scene of the lights. So if you have, again, you're gonna have a lot of lights and showing like what this looks without this one, without this one, without this one, with nothing, and then the ending piece. You know what I'm talking about. But 3D asset artists, that can be over 2 minutes, includes display models on a turntable, including a wireframe pass along with each layer for the texture, if the textures are by you, which is great. And then for all demo reels, let's see. Yes, again, well, reiterating, but yeah, describing what you're responsible for. Some examples are like responsible for the keyframe animation, and motion capture cleanup, or like smoke simulation, engine thruster debris, responsible for all aspects except blank, whatnot. Those are just examples of how to describe that. Also, making that bumper for your responsibility, like not super big. Like a bumper is like that little black bar or thing of text in the corner or on the bottom of the screen, not making that huge so it doesn't take up the whole video. That is important too. So just be able to make that in a way where it's able to be it's legible, but it's not taking up too much space. For the title card, hold that for 2 to 3 seconds with your full name, specialization, email, full phone number. Again, 2 to 3 seconds, even less than that sometimes, but that's just a, you know, typical thing. Audio, include background audio that's instrumental, not overimposing. So edit the volume to lower a second or two before a shot that has its own audio is important. Edit the shot's audio to increase in volume a second before the next shot is about to play, so the shot's audio will blend into the demo reel's audio. So make sure when you're using Premiere Pro that you're being able to like take some time with it, edit the audio, like look up tutorials because that sometimes can that little bit of detail can add to it way more than you think it does, even if it can be difficult, but it's fun. Also, you get experience in video editing. Boom. Um, be careful. Yeah, of course. As we said before, be careful of copyright laws. So any song or musical work published on or before 1927 is free to use. And free audio can be found on several different sites listed, some listed as stock.adobe.com, stock.adobe.com, epic, no, epidemicsound.com, free sound, and the YouTube audio library. Those are some examples. But if you just look up non-copyright music, instrumental, whatever, you'll find tons of stuff. That's my little sorry, that was my little tidbit on some specific demo reel stuff that I just wanted to add in here for you guys. Yeah, but that's all for me though. Let's see. Do we have any more questions? Question mark? Let's see. Do you see anything else, Lexi?
No, I think that might be about it. And I mean, it is
Yeah.
5:15, so
Yeah,
we can
honestly.
probably wrap up. But that was a lot of
Yes.
super helpful information just now. So thank you, Caitlin.
Yeah, of course.
Um,
Just throw that in there.
and thank you guys all for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us. And this will be posted. And I'm guessing you post these too, right, Lexi, in your
Yes, yes,
Discord and
I will
everything.
post the link in our Discord. And I don't know if you guys have any meetings coming up, but
We
we
do.
will
Oh
have
yeah,
one.
let me show that right here.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll have one in a couple weeks. It's going to be a roundtable of people from who have gone through the Disney College program, talking about just their experiences in the program. So it'll be pretty interesting.
Awesome. And then yeah,
Yeah,
we have some our next meetings here for LinkedIn networking Saturday, January 31st, and then internship roundtable Friday, February 13th, and then just a guest speaker Friday, February 27th, which we are working out right now. Yeah, that's all for today. And here's some links to our Discords if you haven't joined already. Let's see. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so
yes, thank
much.
you.
You guys were great. If there's no other questions, yeah, I think we're good to end for today.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Have a good weekend, everyone.
Yes, you
Thank you.
guys have a good
Thank you.
weekend. Of course. Sweet. Okay. Epic. Okay, I think it's just, yeah. Okay, cool. Just the club members now. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so
Yeah.
much again. I'm going to close the Zoom now if y'all don't mind, because I have to
Yeah.
actually go to Monty for for something.
Oh, you're good. I'm so hungry, so I'm gonna go get something to eat.
That's so fair. But yes, it was so nice to meet you. Oh yes. We'll see you
No,
guys. See you,
y'all are
Shannon.
great.
See
Thank you.
Anna.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.